Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State has released the much-awaited white paper yesterday as the state reaction to the Judicial Panel of Inquiry on police brutality and the shooting at the Lekki Toll Gate, where the panel had concluded that there was a massacre. Of the 32 recommendations, 11 were accepted in totality, while 6 were accepted with modifications. 1 was rejected and 14 were sent to the federal government as the Lagos state government lacked the power to adjudicate on them. The white paper also rejected the findings of the judicial panel reports on the Lekki shooting, saying it was indeed a massacre.
EndSARS is still trending and I do not see it going away anytime soon. I had earlier promised you guys that I was going to follow the EndSARS stories to its closure. Now the white paper is out and the Lagos state government has overruled the panel report saying there was no massacre. Welcome to my channel, Sheni's Digest. I welcome on board my new subscribers while I continue to appreciate my returning subscribers. This is the channel where we get to speak out and say it as it is. Today we are focusing on the Lagos state white paper which came out yesterday, and the state government has overruled the panel report saying there was no massacre, maintaining that there was only one person that died at Lekki Toll Gate on 2010-20. And in what seems like a prelude to the release of the white paper, or what you guys may call the forerunner of the release of the white paper. Of course, I'm not talking about the forerunner of Jesus Christ, but the very eloquently delivered speech by Governor Sanwo-Olu, intended to prepare the soft landing for the release of the white paper. Take a listen.
My dear good people of Lagos State, it is with a great sense of responsibility that I address you today on the reactions that have trailed the release of the EndSARS Judicial Panel of Inquiry report submitted to me exactly about 2 weeks ago. I'll start by saying that we, as an administration, are determined that the next steps that will be taken in this process of coming to terms with the event of October 2020 must bring closure to a painful episode in the history of our state with the release of a white paper later today.
Unfortunately, the release of the white paper and the backlash that has greeted the white paper hasn't really given the government the intended soft landing that the forerunner speech was actually meant to achieve. Instead, it has heated up the polity and further polarized the system it was meant to heal. Let's take a listen to some reactions to the video.
But to the extent of, if what I've read so far is correct, to the extent of the government emphatically rejecting the finding of the massacre, I do not agree with the government.
In my measured opinion from the press conference, I think the governor was really struggling very hard to put up a balancing act, a little to the left and a little to the right, by trying to appease the EndSARS protesters and at the same time exonerate its own culpability in the matter. An obvious strategy to prepare a soft landing for the long-awaited white paper. And this explains why it overruled the judicial panel report by saying that there was no massacre. A term analysts are struggling to come in terms with its true meaning, as can be seen from this video. Take a listen.
You just say there's no massacre, but at the same time you say at least one person died. You understand? And I'll give you another example of person that I know died, that was my client and all that. But you are
by the definition of massacre, well, those instances you mentioned do not meet them.
Massacre means 1 million people should die.
No, massacre means a large number of people.
The
dictionary is quite clear.
No. You see,
is there a different definition of massacre in law?
Just a minute, please. Even assume so by your definition.
No, it's a dictionary.
Hold on. Even by that your own understanding of the dictionary meaning is to mean that 9 people. Assuming the government will accept the 9 people or accept 11 people. Well, will you say 11 people out of a crowd of about 5,000 people or 3,000 that night will be large?
I am not making a case. Just a second, just to be clear.
Okay.
I'm not making any case for anyone. I'm just speaking to the word massacre, an indiscriminate and brutal slaughter of many people. That's what the dictionary says. A simple Google search will tell you that one. If we look at...
just a minute. When you say many, the issue now, well, maybe I'm talking as a linguist and as a lawyer, what is many? What is many to you?
Cambridge Dictionary, an act of killing a lot of people.
Yes.
That's a massacre. And the example is this. He ordered the massacre of 2,000 women and children.
Oh, thank you so much. So
that's Cambridge Dictionary.
Let me react now.
Okay, go ahead.
That Cambridge dictionary, that means even if 200 people had been killed, it's not a massacre now. That's nonsense. Just a minute, please. That is nonsense definition.
Well, if
it means 2,000, that means 200 people.
Well, I guess law has to give us a different definition of massacre.
Wow, who's gonna help me with the true definition of massacre? Please drop your definition below. Now, coming back to the eloquent speech by the governor, do you think Lagos State government was actually trying to play safe by not accepting the judicial panel report that there was a massacre? Or was the government simply taking advantage of an untidy nature of the judicial panel report that is filled with inconsistency and contradictions just so to discredit the reports? I'm just asking, what do I know? Let's see some sound bites on this.
Read it and see how you can resolve the conflict between saying, oh, I agree with the pathologist that one person died and was picked up on the 21st of October 2020, and then going on to then say somewhere else that 9 persons died. So it's not that Lagos State government just conjured this from the air. We looked at the report. That is what the panel itself said, that 1 person died at Lekki Toll Gate. Then it then went on to say 9 people died. So it's not Lagos State government that is saying it. It's what the panel said. The federal government never put the Lagos State government under any pressure to discredit the panel or anybody.
From the video you have just watched, does it mean that the Lagos State government was under immense pressure by the federal government not to accept the judicial panel report so that the government will continue to look good before the international community? Does this white paper even matter? Is it a reflection of the truth? Why would government subject the judicial panel report to another scrutiny if indeed it believed in the integrity of the panel? Why subject it to another form of scrutiny by the same government that sets up the panel? So why don't you just go ahead to implement the recommendation as contained in the judicial panel reports? Just asking, what do I know? Or was this panel just set up to show the government that, oh, we are doing what the NSAS protesters wanted, we have set up a judicial panel of inquiry, so that someone will not come out tomorrow to say that we didn't accede to the demand of the protesters? Was that why they set up the judicial panel of inquiry? And isn't it contradictory that the government will not accept the panel report but will go ahead to implement the recommendations? Does this look like admittance of guilt? Something like, I know we are guilty, but let's not accept our guilt. Instead, let's accede to some of the demands as a way of assuaging our own guilt, so that our moral compass will not seem to be tainted. Could this be the reason why the governor is requesting a peace walk with some of the NSAS protesters?
I'll be leading a walk of peace to herald the healing of our land. I want Folani Falana, popularly called Fowls. I would want Debo Adebayo, Mr. Macaroni. I would want an activist lawyer, Mr. Dele Farotimi. I would want Temitope Majekodumi. I would want Mr. Shegun Awosonya. I would want Adetong, Just Detong, who draws me every day. I want legendary son of Fela Seun Kuti.
So I don't think a walk of peace is the next thing in line at the moment. What is necessary is for the government to acknowledge that there has been some wrongdoings.
And do you think the closure the NSAS protesters are looking forward to is a peace walk? And should they accept the governor's request? Or does it not look like putting the cart before the horse? We should confess justice or peace work. Take a listen.
I want peace after justice. Me, I always, if anybody follows me, they know that me, I'm a very normal guy that wants things to happen the way they should happen. I don't need to walk next to the governor before there's peace in Lagos. It is the thing that destroyed the peace that we should look to sort. Only justice can do that. So I always say, okay, the punch bosses, whatever they want to say was destroyed in Lagos. How many buildings is equal to one African life? The governor should walk the walk he's talking about by giving us justice.
It was a hope that the release of the white paper would put a closure and heal the wounds of the NSAS protesters and thus bring justice for the victims. And this is where I draw the curtain on my video for today. Thank you for finding the time to watch my video. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, strike on that notification bell, leave your comments down below, and do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Until I see you pretty soon, stay awesome. Peace out.